What is up, everybody? Escape211 here, and we are doing an Is It Good for Redox. Yeah, I know this guy is still pretty new, and he actually recently got a buff that most of us know about already, of course. His ability got some boosted damage, so he's probably going to stay this way at least for a little while. They may buff him more, and we can review him again, but I think it's a good time to review this guy now. We can go in and just look a little bit about him. He is classified as a tank destroyer. We'll talk a little bit about that to see if he really is a tank destroyer. But let's simply ask the question, as we always do, is Redox good? No, I don't think he is yet. And here is why. Number one, too expensive. In a previous Is It Good, I had talked about Cheetah at that time as being one of the most expensive mechs to purchase in the game. He was over 4,000 credits. I mean, 4,000 A-coins. Credits wouldn't be that bad, but 4,000 A-coins is a lot, and that means you have a high expectation for that mech. Now, Redox is a prototype, so you would think he comes at a little bit more of a premium price, but he is almost twice that of Cheetah. He is 8,000 A-coins. Now, Surge is a little bit more expensive since we've had him, but that is a lot for any mech, for any item, and you would expect a lot out of it. Some of those big prototype weapons that we have, like the carbines and the railgun, seem worth their price tag in a lot of ways, but Redox doesn't quite seem like it, and we're going to talk about some of the other reasons as to why. Number two, poor overall stats. Redox has 24 energy, which of course is the exciting part about him, so that stat is actually quite nice. Obviously, more energy is better, but we have to compare him with the other 24 energy mechs, and when we do that, we find that he has the lowest health and the lowest speed. Now, don't get me wrong, some other guys have equal speed or equal health. Guardian has the same speed as Redox, but he has way more health, and he has arguably a better ability. And Panther actually has the same type of health pool as Redox, but he has more speed and arguably a better ability. And that's really the thing. When you have low stats in both areas with a mech like this, you would expect his ability to pick up a lot of the slack. And I don't really think it does, so let's move on to that. Number three, ability is spread too thin. When we first heard about Redox's ability, it sounded pretty cool, right? Kind of a combination of Killshot's ability and dealing damage, kind of a combination of Zephyr's ability by limiting your opponent's options when you fight them. And with the 24 energy, yeah, it sounds like he would be a tank destroyer. But the problem is that because he's trying to do both of these things, he doesn't do it effectively enough. The damage over time isn't happening fast enough, and it works for Killshot because he gets the damage in right away and then he's done. And his speed helps him move around, get away, and deal with the next target. But for the Zephyr side, Zephyr is able to completely immobilize his target, give them no options, and have a window to take them out. He's an ambusher. So you try to do the same thing with Redox, and you're not really going to be as effective. He's not going to ambush as well because he's too slow, and he's not going to deal damage fast enough because even with his extra energy, it's not killing fast enough, and enemies can retaliate, and that's the problem. Again, his low health and his low mobility are not compensating or giving him enough around his ability to compensate for that, and that is the huge problem with this guy. He's just not going to be able to fulfill his role if every time he has an encounter, he can't completely stop his enemy and damage them fast enough. Number four, not an essential mech. Now, this actually looks really similar to what I did for Cheetah, and I actually looked at my Is It Good video, and it's about the same, and you run into the same problem with this mech. Both of them do not cover their cost, their stats aren't good enough, and their ability isn't pulling enough weight to allow them to do anything. In just about every situation, I would want either a Killshot or a Zephyr because they do their job better. Redox just doesn't do it well enough. And even in the case of 24 energy mechs, sad to say, but I think in a lot of cases I would rather have and use a Paragon before I use Redox. Now that doesn't mean his ability will never see the light of day and he doesn't get used. A lot of people can, and you can actually do his ability through walls, which is pretty cool, but because it's not going to kill anything or completely immobilize it for your other targets like a Zephyr does, it just takes a back seat, and that's the case with Redox in a whole. He takes a back seat, especially when you consider him being a prototype and being so expensive. For a lot of people, it's just not worth it. That is going to be it for this video, you guys. And like I said, Redox isn't terrible in the sense that no one is going to use them. I mean, obviously, his energy is quite good, but I just don't think all of it adds up to being equal to cost. I would rather see people take 8,000 A coins and put it into some of the other core mechs in the game to upgrade them before you get this guy. But if you're someone who spends money in the game and just wants a 24 energy mech out of the bag, he's not a bad option for that. So if you're that type of person, you may want it, but otherwise, I think this is the case. He's not good. Do you agree or disagree? Feel free to comment below, and we will see you out there on the battlefield.